Good afternoon, evening, whenever you're joining me. This is Deborah Roth from Spirited Living, and I am here to introduce you to another goddess in the 10,000 faces of the Divine Feminine, as we like to say, those of us that embrace feminist spirituality. In my, now 5-year long series, where we highlight the goddesses from around the world, and I call it the Inner Goddess Team, IGT videos. And I seem to be on a kick lately of focusing on the Eastern Europe, Slavic countries. Estonia is the one today that I'm highlighting. And and all of these have to do with either spring or outdoors, as everything's coming alive. The one today that I'm introducing you to is the Estonian goddess of the forest. Her name, and please correct me if anybody knows the correct Estonian pronunciation, is Metsaema. And she's considered the mother spirit of the forest. And she's actually connected to lots of other mother goddesses, mother spirits. There's another name for her in Latvia. I'm looking at my notes because this is all new to me. And her name actually means, the first part of it, metsa is forest, and Emma is mother. So she is the forest mother. And actually, apparently, in Estonian lore, most of their forest spirits are women. There are a few men. However, in Slavic mythology, the forest gods, the forest spirits, are mostly male. But in all of them, they really are all about protecting the forest, and sometimes with the forest mothers, like Metsaema, she is connected with fertility and with acting as a midwife in some of the descriptions of her. They're basically said, these forest spirits, whether male or female, are found in every forest, and they rule over animals, birds, trees, berries, and the wild animals in particular, like bears and snakes and wolves. They're connected all across different European mythologies. So I guess this is sort of a universal tree honoring. And the reason that I'm bringing her in particular up today is to honor Arbor Day, which just passed on Friday, April 25th. And I have a particular, any of you who know me know that I have a really deep connection with trees. Interestingly, there was not a lot of mythology that I found about her. Like none. So, and I really combed all kinds of places. And the only image that I found that I liked, because I've said here before that I don't like the idealized kind of anime ones where they look like these cute young things that are very not powerful looking to me. But there is actually a pine tree named after the Metsaema forest goddess, forest spirit, and that's what that tree looks like. So because she is all about being connected to trees, connecting the forest, she seemed like a really special one to acknowledge right after Arbor Day, to remind us, as the trees, I'm looking out my window now in New York City. I'm on the ground floor, and I can actually look out and see trees and right across the street in Riverside Park. And I will go sit under one of those shortly. One of my favorite places to be and to meditate. And in fact, because I couldn't find a whole lot of mythology around her, I'm going to lead you on one of my really favorite meditations. I call it earth mending, but it's really all about connecting with tree energy. So I'll do that before we sign off too. Let me see what else it is that I want to tell you about her. So the one kind of festival, and I'm not even sure when this is celebrated, was something called the Metsikku Tagamine Festival in the 17th and 18th centuries. And in that festival, straw puppets were dressed up alternately to represent Metsaema as the forest mother, but also the forest father in these Slavic Estonian traditions. Metsaisa is the forest father's name. Yeah, I think that's all. That's really just about all I could find about her. I think for us humans, for us beings, modern day people, one of the ways that I think looking at these archetypes, at these ancient gods and goddesses, I mostly do goddesses here, is to really embody what their message is, what their symbolism is, and how can we incorporate that into our lives in a way that's meaningful, in a way that's tangible. And I think with Metsaema, as with any of these forests, if you did some exploring, and in fact I highlighted the last two goddesses I did were more about spring, and around the equinox. Divana was one that I did several weeks ago. But all of them are really about reminding us about our deep, very powerful connection to nature, to the earth, and hopefully remembering that connection, and in this case it's really for the trees, that we can be protectors, we can be guardians of the forest, of the trees. So if there's a point where you feel the need to do that, you don't have to go and perch in a tree like can't remember her name, but where people have looked to save old growth trees and have lived in them, for a year. You don't have to be that extreme, although more power to them, but really call on the energy of these forest goddesses. Go out into a forest yourself. Celebrate what your connection is to trees, because they are primal. And in fact, I have 3 years ago, I highlighted kind of tree goddesses in general, and in particular, Asherah, who's the Hebrew goddess who was associated. She was embodied in a sacred tree back in May of 2022. So you can look at that. You can go to my YouTube channel and look there and see, back in May 10th, I think it was, what I said about tree goddesses then. But what I will leave you with is this reminder of our role, just as these ancient goddesses and these ancient gods were called on to protect nature, to protect both flora and fauna, both living creatures as well as the trees themselves, that we are guardians of the forest. And so we can tap into that energy and be our own forest spirits, our own forest mothers and fathers, and be able to protect the beautiful forests around the world. So let's. I'm gonna share with you a chant. I'm trying to decide which to do first. I'm going to share with you this earth mending meditation that I mentioned. I actually let it I wasn't planning on it, in my new moon circle yesterday, my Taurus new moon circle that I do virtually, because Taurus is an earth sign. It's all about protecting the earth, honoring our bodies. That's a whole other story. But I brought it in because it's a way that we can literally embody the energy of a tree. So rather than talk about it anymore, I think I need to sing, and then I'll take you through the meditation. How's that? So the chant that I found, and I actually sang this one for the Asherah video back in 2022. See if I can remember the tune. The leaves on the trees reach up to the sky, and the roots reach down through the deep, dark earth. I gotta take it up a little. The leaves on the trees reach up to the sky, and the roots reach down through the deep, dark earth. The leaves on the trees reach up to the sky, and the roots reach down through the deep, dark earth. So I've been singing that. I've been listening to it and singing it, and just honoring trees that way. And then to close, I'll just invite you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself under a favorite tree, sitting on the ground under a tree with your back up against the trunk. And just breathe into that space. Even imagine yourself kind of merging like a Shira, emerging into the tree, this sacred tree, this favorite tree of yours. And as you sit there, imagine that you can draw down really beautiful healing energy from the sun, from the moon, from the cosmos, down from those high branches in the trees that we just sang about, down through the tree, down through you as you are embodied in the tree, and then out through your root chakra, out into the earth, into the roots of this tree that you have embraced, that is embracing you. And as you imagine this energy coming down, out through your root, into their roots, imagine it just crackling its way, kind of like chiropractic subluxations that you're breaking through to clear out and heal the roots of this particular favorite tree, this sacred tree of yours. And then just imagine that energy continuing to reach out, to spark, to flow to the tree roots around your tree, around where you're sitting. And imagine those continuing to reach. And we know now through all the wonderful books about how trees are connected with each other and how they support each other through their roots. And imagine that extending literally through all of the roots, slowly but surely, in your town, in your state, in your country, across the globe, as though you are connected to a wonderful tree root matrix that surrounds and protects the earth, just as we must protect the earth and her trees. So feel that, imagine that there's this sparkling tree root matrix that we are feeding right now, just through the power of our intention. I would encourage you, we won't spend a lot of time there just in the interest of time, but you can come back to this image that you yourself can be a channel from the healing energy, the growing energy of the sun, the wisdom of the moon and of the cosmos into you and through you into the earth to help heal the earth. And then slowly begin to draw the energy back to you, to your own body, in your own space, wherever you're sitting now. And that's what I call my earth mending meditation. I don't do it every day now, but I do it often. So listen to the chant again when you're ready to honor all those trees around you or your favorite tree, and then take a moment to do some earth mending whenever it comes up for you. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Not quite sure when we'll be doing another one, sometime in the next month. Bye for now.